Intro screen. And we are live. Hey, everybody. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
That's right. The podcast with two men with beards. One has brown hair, one has blonde hair. Here is the first ad sent to us by Damian Michael. It is a Gibson EB2 1960 gold sparkle refin.
This is that big sparkle that you like.
Oh, yeah. I love this big sparkle. This is beautiful. This is
a 1960 Gibson EB2 vintage bass, stunning gold sparkle refinish. Plays well, but the string lineup is more to the treble side than it seems it should be. Action is set high. The bass could use some setup work or modifications due to the above mentioned Ed to get your playing style preference. As such, the bass is sold as is, has a Japanese reissue pickup. Some routing of the pickup cavity took place to enlarge the cavity to fit a bigger pickup. Headstock has had a repair. Gibson orange sticker is still in the body. Original case in fair shape. Please ask questions. Thanks for looking. What questions do you have for this seller?
Ask questions, Steve. I don't know. I don't know what questions I want to ask. My question is, can I have this done to a different guitar? I don't play the long guitar, but man, that's pretty.
I want to know, did these guitars originally have banjo tuners? That's
a good question. I kind of doubt it. That looks like an aftermarket thing to me, because I can't remember any Gibson other than Firebird or Thunderbird or whatever that had the banjo tuners.
I don't even know if so I'm definitely not seeing any of these. You know what? I think some of them did.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's so strange.
Kind of a slick look, honestly.
Well, it's just weird because, like, offhand, I don't even know if I knew that banjo tuners existed for bass.
There's something out there for everyone, man. The parts exist. You want to put banjo tuners on your bass? They exist somewhere, Steve. You just have to buy this guitar, then you can swap them around.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you think of this thing? Does this tickle a bass itch for you?
Not this. I'm not as big into Gold Flake as you are. I kind of feel like I mostly have this happening already with this guy, the Eastwood. It's got a lot of these. Just the semi-hollow thing. The semi-hollow basses are a lot of fun. You can really hear yourself while you're playing. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I can't hear anything. That's weird.
Are you having technical issues over there?
The speaker volume on my computer was turned down super low.
Oh, okay. That explains the issues I didn't know you were having.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look at this. If I wouldn't buy it for $2,200 or whatever they want, or whatever it's actually worth is way outside of my price range, obviously. But if I saw this in a store, I'd pick it up and I'd noodle some bass.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's really pretty. And then I'd take a lot of pictures and I'd be like, God, can I do this on a different guitar? If this was a 6-string guitar and not a bass with that finish, if this was like a 335 or something like that, oh man, I would be rock hard right now. I'd be like, oh man, yeah, I might be able to sell enough stuff to get the money together to get that. But because it's a long boy with not enough strings, yeah, it's not making me run to the bank. I'll say that.
Do you think they did this in gold sparkle finish to make a super bright colored guitar to make up for that super dark mudbucker?
Yeah, that balances it out. I like to brighten up dark signals. I think it's a fun thing to do, and that's what they did here. They took a dark guitar and made it brighter. Sometimes you want that deep dark bassy sound. You don't always want that slappy P bass sound, right?
I mean, that's what the tone knob is for.
That's true. I guess you can't turn this thing brighter.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck. Versus, like, if you have I don't want to say you can take like any bass that's bright and roll the roll
Sure.
the tone off. But that's definitely like, again, with this guy right over here, the Eastwood, it's already a pretty woody sound. But if I really want to try to like get into that upright bass space, I can just go to the neck pickup, roll off the tone, and it just gets real woolly and very organic. It's never been touched by genetically modified organisms.
Do you have a fan on over there or something?
Oh, I do.
Oh, turn that thing off, man.
I usually turn it off. I forgot.
I hear it jumping through the noise gate every now and then. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a pain to edit.
Yeah, sorry about that. usually in the pre-show, you're like, you got that fan on?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a short pre-introduction. So $2,200. Do you think that's a good deal?
That's where I don't know anything about these instruments to begin with, so I don't know what a fair price is. It kind of is looking like it might be.
I mean, it's 1950.
Some of the later versions of this, so like the later 60s ones, which don't actually have the banjo tuners, that was something that was only on the earliest models. Some people are trying to sell these for as much as like $4,500. So like Norman's Rare Guitars up in LA has a 1967 EB2 for $4,500. But there are some of these earlier ones. The lowest ones I'm seeing are down around the same price, $2,200. They're not in gold sparkle, so I mean, if gold sparkle's your thing,
and it is, but I think that might be a detractor for people who have a hard-on for vintage Gibson. They're gonna look at this and be like, a refin. This ain't no Fender. I want the original finish.
Yeah.
Don't throw that refin trash in front of me. I want to see that dark cherry with temperature cracks all the way through it.
Right. Well, and the other thing is it does say right away, like, it's a reissue pickup.
Okay.
So it's not the original pickup, and it's already saying like it's routed to fit that, and
there's some sort of issue with the string spacing across the neck.
Yeah. So maybe it's almost like if it was local and you could play it first, you could maybe figure it out. But
in the grand scheme of things, so the shell of the 1960 Gibson bass, if you were going to hire someone to make you a new one custom to these specs, it'd cost you way more than $2,200.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And even if you get this and then pay a tech $1,000 to make it work the way you want and put the parts that you want in it, you're still spending less than getting a custom guitar.
Yeah.
It's a 60s Gibson. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be kind of a hot price. I don't know. That's my take on it. I don't feel like
I just think
crazy.
I just think I'd have to know. Maybe if there were some more pictures where you could really see that treble side lean. I guess it says it plays well. It almost makes it sound like that treble side lean is just a quirk, and it really is only going to affect your. Well,
you might be able to adjust that just by cutting a new slot in the saddles.
Right.
Saddle. Just
it's also
cut more slots or replacing the bridge or something.
It's also only going to affect your G string, and you don't need that one anyway.
No, it's a bass. You only need the top two.
Yeah, this bass already has 2 more strings than it really needs.
Exactly.
Some might say it already has 3 more strings than it really needs.
All right, we got another Gibson guitar here, another vintage.
Oh yeah.
This was sent to us by Kyle Smith, of course. Some sort of parlor-ish sort of thing. Looks very old. $1,800, 1938 Gibson 3/4 guitar F-hole. No other description, really. Oops, too far. In the thread about this, Mike Adams and others were tracking down info and figuring out that it probably is a Gibson from that era.
Really?
It's just been mangled quite a bit.
Yeah. How much do they want?
1,800, I think. Yeah. So I forget the model number, but It does look like one of those, 40s Gibsons, one of the parlor jazz things. And the pictures they were pulling up, I should have shown screen grabs of those pictures, showed a model that did have a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
One of those like little thumb chromy submarine style ones with like the metal bar going down around the bridge to support it.
Oh, interesting.
But it was not the pickup that is pictured here in this ad. Clearly, because that is some sort of like mangled aftermarket thing that's going on there.
Yeah, there, and that's where. So I don't know enough about vintage Gibson. If you would have just sent this to me and said, "What do you think this is?" I would just been like, "I don't know what it is, but is this really a Gibson?" Like,
yeah. Well, when I looked at the pictures they were showing of the guitar that it's actually supposed to be, man, I should have really grabbed that. And it was like, yeah, it looks like the exact same shape, exact same dimensions of the F holes, exact same placement and hardware of various things. It's been stripped down. It's missing its logo. Someone put a piece of like cardboard or leather with a Gibson stamp.
Yeah,
where the
classy
logo,
guys.
It's not a terrible look, honestly. It fits the rest of the guitar. But man, $1,800 I think is a tough sell on this. Without someone coming along to whisper in my ear, "Oh, if you had this restored, it would be worth $200,000," which it won't be.
Right. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what this is. It's a archtop parlor. There's nothing in me. I mean, I guess it has a truss rod, so that means it's not a Silvertone Harmony, right?
Right.
All of those K, like, because all of those had a no truss rod, just steel reinforced neck.
Right.
Sad. But yeah, there's nothing about this that I can look at and go like, oh yeah, that's this thing. That's this model. And what year is it supposed to be? Like 1938?
Yeah, 38. Give me a minute. I'm gonna find this thing. I should have included it in everything.
There's no inlays that look fancy like I would expect.
Can't find it.
There's just nothing about it. Is it a Gibson L30?
That might be it. Let me look that up. Gibson L30.
I'm just throwing that one out there.
30 arch top. That looks right. Yeah, I think it's the Gibson L30.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here.
I mean, it's pretty wiped out.
Yeah, but it looks like, except for the pickup and the obvious finish removal that has gone through, it looks like it's an otherwise stock shape. It looks like the same bridge and tailpiece. It looks like original tuners. The nut might even be original. It might be worth cleaning up. I just, what do you think the value is of something like this?
I have a hard time saying what they're asking for, 1,800. But yeah. I guess it's a thing where someone at some point in its life like sanded all of the finish off of it.
Or they loved it off. They played so hard and so often that not a single piece of finish remained.
Yes.
On Reverb, I'm seeing a cherry condition one. Well, not much more cherry than this, with the original pickup
for 39 or for 2950.
For 2950, that thing is awesome. Oh man, yeah. You show me this thing and you show me the other one, and I'm gonna save up the extra grand to get this nice looking one.
Exactly.
Oh, and it had a painted on logo. That's why it disappeared with the paint removal. It had like black kind of bumpy lacquer with a white logo painted on it.
This is probably worth 1,800 to somebody.
I think you've got to be, someone who has the desire to restore it. You might look at it and be like, oh, it might be the type of person who looks at it and goes like, oh, it's actually better now because that paint really kills the resonance. Or
Oh my gosh.
like
I think to get the non collector into this, someone who just wants something vintage and kind of cool, you got to push this way down. You got to be like under $1,000.
Oh yeah, I think for me, if I was going to like an old school like guitar show, like Guitars of the West or whatever used to roll through town, and I saw it sitting out on a table, I'd tell the guy at the table, hey man, if this doesn't sell by the end of the day, I'll give you $750 for it.
Right, exactly.
Grant from Big Ear just said, I just got here, so you might have mentioned it, but that pickup is supposed to be the other direction. Like they removed the B-pole piece because they were always so loud. I was wondering what was going on with that. It's missing the second pole piece there, and it's supposed to be flipped over the other way, apparently.
Gotcha. I did not know that.
Kind of a wild modification, a very barnstormy type take on guitar design.
Yes.
Like, that B string's kind of loud. Just take out the part of the pickup that gets close to it.
Well, I mean, it's designed that way, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
It's not like it's missing. It's just it was never there to begin with.
Well, at some point it was there, and they decided it was too much. There's no way they designed a pickup by going like, oh, let's put one pole in here.
I'm saying
remove that one. They had 6 poles in the pickup design, and they're like, that sucks. Take out one.
Right, but I'm saying like it was manufactured that way. It's not like somebody took. It's not like somebody took a Strat pickup and was like, what would make this Strat pickup better is if it didn't have a B pole and just ripped it out. Like this is built that way.
That might honestly make a Strat better.
That's my favorite string.
The B string.
Yeah,
Steve loves the B. Give him the B.
I feel like this guitar, what is really missing from value on this is like maybe a couple Ratfink stickers, like replace that Gibson logo with a Tiki logo.
Give it a little bit of pinstriping.
Yeah.
Just
go all in on this kind of like dirty blues rockabilly thing. And then now maybe it's worth $1,800.
It might be a very, very fun guitar to play. It might be very, very fun. That's something we haven't considered.
It might be, but it probably isn't.
Yeah.
No, I have the Harmony archtop, and archtop acoustics are just a whole different thing to begin with, and so they can be a lot of fun. I also am just realizing that the line across the headstock is like, so when they put the leather Gibson sticker, is that even leather? It looks like washi tape.
I think it might just be a piece of like fiberboard or cardboard or something like that,
I just
Kyle Smith says the D'Armond pickup is worth more money than the Gibson. I stand by what I said. If this was on a table at a guitar show, I'd offer $750 and I'd probably walk out with it at the end of the day because no one else had bid on it, That's my instinct anyways. And, I could probably turn it into a really fun player, an around the house guitar, something that looks cool in music videos, that sort of thing. A replacement for, the $150 Groat that I have. Replace it with a $750 Gibson that's older than most people that I know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that would be, $700.
Yeah. Here's the question. No matter how it happens, by money or luck, you end up in possession of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you leave the Gibson cardboard, maybe leather sticker tag?
I think I'd get rid of it.
I think I might leave it. It's so bad that it circles back around to kind of cute.
I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to put whatever the worst Gibson logo is, that's the one I put on.
Here's what I would do if I had this thing, if I came into possession of it. I would salvage that little piece off of there. I do like a salvage job on this. I'd salvage the little cardboard piece off the headstock.
Mm-hmm.
I would clean up whatever's going on with the pickup there. I think someone routed it for a humbucker or a P90 or something.
Like underneath?
And underneath it, and then they covered it up with this D'Armond. or whatever's going on there. I would clean up whatever's going on there with whatever cool thing I think it needed. Flip this pickup around or give it a proper pickup. I don't know. Maybe this is a really, really cool pickup. It could be. I would hit this thing with the slightest, thinnest coat of nitro clear, just because I think that dirty grain is going to pop out in a really spooky way and give it a little bit of protection. I would have a screen made of the original Gibson logo and like screen print it back on the headstock.
Yeah.
And I would stick that little leather thing like inside of the guitar through an F hole or something like that. I want to preserve it somewhere. Maybe I would preserve it on the truss cover or something. I don't know. I'd want to do something with it because
I think it could look cool horizontal, like perpendicular with the neck, like high, like by the 15th fret.
Or maybe I'd lacquer it to the back of the headstock for my own little special treat.
There you go. There you go. So no one else has to look at it. Just
no one else gets to look at it, Steve.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is?
So what's new, man? How are you doing?
Dude, it was really hot today, and I didn't realize it because I did not leave the office between I got to work late, and then I left when I left, and I did not leave the building in between, so I never knew how hot it was until I got home.
Yeah, you were lucky. I was in the humidity all day trying to work.
Oh.
I shot a full demo. I've been working on a demo for the new Catalan bread pedal, the Gygas. Do you know what that is? The Gygas?
Like what the pedal is, or what?
No, what that the word means, or what the thing.
I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's some kind of ancient monster.
It's actually from a video game.
Oh,
I looked it up and I was like, oh, this is from some Nintendo game that I don't know.
Weird.
It's one of the baddies. It's like the main bad guy or something like that. But anyways, this is a massive sounding fuzz. I filmed the whole thing today. I edited it, and it's just like this video does not do the product justice. I have to completely reshoot this. So I'm going to reshoot it tomorrow. I want to make sure I show this thing off the way it needs to be shown, because it's actually a really fun.
Show me that art again.
The art is their own art.
I know.
When I looked up the thing, it didn't show anything that looked anything like this.
Yeah,
a bunch of red pixels.
Kind of interesting that they got up to that graphic. Maybe there's like I don't know if there's any like a comic book or something maybe that's related. Someone
that I hate named Mayonnaise. I don't hate them. I just hate mayonnaise. Says it's from Earthbound.
Yeah.
Earthbound. So I don't know if it sounds the way that game plays, but it's a really fun pedal. Would actually be a good one for you, Steve. It's got a blend knob on it. It handles low and stuff. Really fun. I'm going to do a bunch of baritone noodling with it. I actually tuned down to drop A with my baritone.
Yeah, Earthbound is like a classic Nintendo RPG, I guess.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've never played it.
I don't want to know, Steve. I don't want to know. Don't fill me in. Right. So what's new with you other than it's hot?
I can't get this pen to write. What the heck? I got into a conversation with two of my coworkers today about this show.
Oh.
And it was like a person who knew I had a podcast but never asked about it, and then one of our newer employees, and they're asking all about it, and they're like talking about whatever. They were like, if you were to start basically the question is like, oh, where should I start if I wanted to listen to it? And I was like, well, do you play guitar? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, so this is just going to be nonsense to you. But if you want to get a feel, like, just start with the most recent one, you know? And then I was like, no, what you should do, because they're my coworkers, I was like, you should go find the episode where Edith is born. Because that's the funniest episode for sure.
Yeah, that was almost 2 years ago now.
And the problem is I tried to Google that, like 60 cycle hum baby, 60 cycle hum pregnant, and nothing came up. So we couldn't find anything. But
yeah, I'll have to tag that somehow.
One of my coworkers was like, "All right, I'm subscribed. I'm just gonna download and delete." I'm like, "That's fine, man. I'll take that." Like, that's basically what I do with a bunch of podcasts right now. Is I just download it and I go, "Do I have time for this week?" No.
Nope.
You know what's new? You know what's new?
Tell me what's new, Steve.
You were on Flippin' Flippers.
I was on Flippin' Flippers. I recorded that 3 weeks ago, something like that. It was fun to go over to Co's house. Man, I wish I'd known you were going to bring that up. I would have prepared a slide or two. It wasn't talked about on the show. Everyone go listen to it, by the way. We talk about berries a lot. Raspberries, blackberries, and some other nonsense, ghosts and whatnot, of course.
I'm definitely team blackberries.
Asshole. How dare you?
Raspberries always taste a little chalky to me.
They're soft and they're velvety and they're sweet and citrusy. A blackberry has a hard twig in the middle.
I don't remember that part. Like, you guys brought that up and I don't.
Get yourself a fresh blackberry. Try to bite it in half. See how much fun you're having. It's not.
All right.
A raspberry is like nature's marshmallow. It just dissolves.
I think that's part of the problem for me. Is it's just like, of all the berries, it's the one I'm least like interested in, because I need a little bit of a texture. Like,
so anyway,
everything you're describing, that like velvety softness, I'm like, yeah, like that's why it tastes like chalk.
It's not chalky though.
It's sweet, but like, maybe I just haven't had really good raspberries, but my raspberry history is not great.
With Co. Go listen to the Flippin' Flippers episode with me. Don't do it right now. Finish listening to this first. So the other thing that was over there that we didn't talk about on the show, he was going through his cases of guitars, like, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Mm-hmm.
The case has got a strip of tape down the side that says Phantom 6 in Roman numerals. And I'm like, is that a Phantom?
Oh,
like, yes, this is a Phantom. He cracks it open. He's holding it for a friend that bought it from a Foo Fighters auction. It's not Dave Grohl's guitar, but it's the other guitarist in Foo Fighters.
Christian,
he didn't say how much he paid, but I got the feeling he paid a lot for it, more than it was probably worth. But I've never actually gotten a chance to play a real Vox Phantom. It was kind of broken. The bridge was messed up on it, but it was like kind of hanging in there enough for me to play it. I still fell in love with it.
Do you want to know how much it was? How much it's?
Did you look it up?
I don't know. I know what it was. I see what it was listed for. I guess I don't know on Reverb. After something sells, is that the actual price or is that the listed price?
That's the listed price.
So it was listed for.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
I bet it was listed for 5 and it went for 8.
Like 5,000, and you think it went for 8,000?
Yeah.
It was listed for 2,800.
That's actually normal.
There were 9 offers made, so I always assume offers are going to be lower. But
those Phantoms don't come cheap, and it's hard to find them in working condition and in full condition. It had the trim bar and everything. If he paid under 28, then he got a good deal, I think. Especially considering it came from a Foo Fighter and it came with a certificate and everything like that. So hopefully, maybe the offers went the other way though. Well, we're assuming the offers went down because that's the way Reverb works for us non-celebrities.
Right. I'm looking at these and not all of them. There's kind of like a bottom of the list. But a lot of the stuff a lot of the things that were being sold, the prices aren't crazy at all unreasonable. So like they in the store was a Fender Mike Dirnt Road Worn P bass.
Yeah. And
it was listed for $1,100, which is actually $30 cheaper than a brand new one would be.
Yeah.
Now some of the things are a little pricier. There's a Mexican 72 Telecaster. And that one is also listed for or was listed for $1,200. And that one's a bit more expensive, but even that, like, those are $800 new.
Yeah.
So it's not off the rails.
Here's what I want to do. I want now that I know that it probably didn't sell for crazy money and might have sold within range of its actual value.
Mm-hmm.
I need to speak to Co. and I need to say, hey, if your friend ever wants to sell it, let me know first. Mm-hmm. And I liked it enough that might be something that I sell a bunch of stuff to fund getting whatever I could offer on it.
Right.
The bridge was busted on it. Man, I wish I had pictures to show. The bridge was busted, but the trim on it was in full working condition. It was in glorious condition, very smooth. Felt very sturdy as a trim. I really liked the sound of the pickups. I liked the way it played. It probably could have done with a refret because it's got those super flat, worn out sort of frets. But that's the kind of vintage guitar I wouldn't mind investing in for my future sort of
How's
thing.
the bridge busted?
How do I explain this?
Because I'm looking at a picture of it.
The where the posts connect
mm-hmm.
to the plate of the bridge, there's a thimble that goes over the posts, and the base of that thimble, the metal has cracked away, and so it's a full structural failure on the bridge. But I know there's got to be a replacement out there somewhere or something creative that can be done. I was honestly looking at it and like, I would shim up the bridge into position and then just leave it and just not worry about ever adjusting it. You know, it wouldn't be hard to shove a couple well cut pieces of wood underneath the bridge to salvage the issue. But I thought it was a very fun guitar, and it's the sort of thing I would want to have in my collection if I was going to start collecting vintage stuff for sure.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at pictures of other ones. But maybe there's just not enough detail in this picture to tell exactly what's busted about it.
Mm-hmm.
The screws look like they're not the original screws, though.
Which screws? The
bridge screws.
No, I think
like the post screws.
It's all just busted up, so it could be what you're saying is a busted bridge. It looks like the metal just failed on it, you know.
Maybe this isn't the one that sold then, but it's a black.
Yeah, it was
1960s Chris Shiflett.
That was probably it. I wish I could see it. I'm trying to find the photos on my phone that I know I took.
I mean, I guess I could share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen, Steve. Do the responsible thing.
Is that it?
That looks like it.
So I guess looking at this
from this angle at the bridge.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. Cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to get to see if I was missing something or if we just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
We've talked so much about this stupid guitar.
Yeah, you want to talk about the sponsor?
This show's never going to end. Yeah, this week's sponsor is Chase Bliss Audio. They make pedals more creative than you are with a digital brain and an analog heart. These are pedals that will never sound like fart.
Unless you really want them to, but they can also sound like chorus most of the time. This
or a wah.
Thing sounds like a wah, even though it's a preamp pedal.
Or a tremolo.
Or it could be a tremolo if you program it with a MIDI, or it can be a fuzz, or an overdrive, or a distortion, or a clean boost, an EQ, or it could be a completely different kind of fuzz, or that wah that I was talking about. I'm talking about the Chase Bliss Preamp Mark II Automatone series. It's their newest, hottest thing, and is it delicious? It is beautiful.
So thanks to Chase Bliss. Go check them out at chaseblisssaudio.com. Are we ready for this first topic?
Yeah. Let's hit this thing right out of the park. Let's solve this issue that everyone really cares about and has been fighting about. And
we're going to solve the music industry right now. This topic was sent by Emily Harris from the Get Offset podcast, and she says, talk about Spotify telling artists they need to release more music.
I'm going to tell artists to release less music. Just, guys, no more like crap songs. Just only the good stuff.
Only good
You can
songs.
throw stuff away, you know. Back in the day, they were recording stuff to tape. That stuff is expensive. Now you're recording it to just SD cards and hard drives. That's not expensive. Throw stuff away. You're not wasting material. Let's just hear those good songs, please. Yeah. So, what's your hot take on this? Now that
I obviously I think so. This is Daniel Ek's statement. Is he's saying that there is a narrative fallacy that's been created and caused music fans to believe that Spotify doesn't pay musicians enough for streams of their music, which I actually think that's true. I don't think that's a narrative fallacy.
no, they should be paying more, and they should be charging their advertisers more to compensate for that.
If there is a narrative fallacy, it's because they're not talking about the fact that I guess in the past maybe people just stole that music. But I don't know. Like I'm saying this as somebody who doesn't use Spotify.
I tried it. I go back and forth between Spotify and Pandora, but I usually go to Pandora.
So then he says, some artists that used to do well in the past may not do well in this future landscape, where you can't record music once every 3 to 4 years and think that's going to be enough. The artists today that are making it realize that it's about creating a continuous engagement with their fans. It is about putting the work in, about storytelling around the album, about keeping a continuous dialogue with your fans. So there's things about that. So I look at this in a couple different ways. One is that if he's speaking contextually only as saying like Spotify is the future, and if you want to make money off of us, you better put out more music.
Yeah, I think that interpretation of that it makes you angry, and it's it's infuriating. I listen to that. I'm like, I don't disagree with the main part of his point, and I don't think he better not be saying artists that are making it on Spotify, because I don't think there's anyone making bank on Spotify. Like, no one is. Like, you hear reports all the time, like, some, like, Britney Spears gets like 30,000 billion streams and she got a check for $2,000 or whatever,
Right.
You hear those stories all the time. Unless I'm wrong, I don't think anyone is making a living with their music on Spotify. So I don't think that's what he's talking about. I think he's just talking about the industry in general.
Yeah, and if he's talking about the industry in general, I think that is problematic. I think it is a little, obviously it's in his own benefit for people to release more music, because more he's going to get more streams.
I don't think that's true either. More music on Spotify doesn't mean more streams. More users on Spotify means more streams. And so if every band produced 12 more songs tomorrow and put them all on Spotify tomorrow, you wouldn't see an increase in plays. You're getting the same amount of plays per day because users are using, and Tron fights for the users.
Right.
That's what we need. We need Tron and Spotify.
Oh my gosh. I think I think the other side of that is the original statement. You can't make music every 3 to 4 years and think that's going to be enough. I think I kind of agree with that. I think that is a factual statement. Whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think that's probably a bad thing. I think it's most likely a bad thing. In this
time that we live in, no one should be making albums. You should be making 2 to 3 songs as a set at most, in my opinion. And you release them as singles. You pick the one that you're going to make a video for, or some sort of, social media campaign or something like that. And then you try again in a couple months. You put out another 3 songs,
Right. So
if I was going to try to be a musician making it today, that's like how I would start.
Sorry, apparently my house is burning down.
Uh-oh. Be real awkward when flames start coming up behind you.
Yeah. Give me a second, and then actually let's finish this topic. Then we'll have to pause for a minute.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I think the problem is I understand what you're saying, but I also appreciate that like some artists, you know, put together 12 songs that tell a story, and it's going to take them 3 or 4 years, and so
Well, you know what?
I think the question is the I think the real question is whether or not the Spotify landscape is a landscape that people want to make money in, maybe, or should. And the bigger problem is that Spotify is such a juggernaut of a company at this point, or at least people perceive it that way. But it's it's when they say something, and it's interesting too, because this is coming out on the heels where I think there's been memes going around talking about how different streaming services pay artists,
Right.
and that now I don't, again, I don't, the music service I'm subscribed to is YouTube, because I don't want I watch a lot of YouTube and I don't want commercials.
YouTube
and so
pays better than the majority of stuff.
Right. So I don't know.
And the ads are worth more for video,
Apparently the one that pays the most is Tidal.
Yeah, the one that no one uses.
Which is the one that no one uses, but it's also the one that that is actually owned by musicians. Like Tidal was started by Jay-Z, so it's
right.
That's like their deal. I don't remember if it was just him or who all was in on it, how it was put together, but like he was, the main, at least the face of it, right? Like,
sure.
And so that's some people's, that's kind of the idea, like, oh, that's why it is, people want to say like that's why it pays the most is because, Jay-Z wants to make sure that other artists have, like, maybe not the same opportunities he had, but at least a fair shake for in the current market. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. I listen to radio still. I still listen to terrestrial radio. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. Spotify, use it, don't use it. I get why it sucks for some musicians, but
I get why people are angry about this. I think the message is the messenger. People don't want to hear from Spotify why they're not making it as musicians when Spotify pays them nothing for, free content, basically, that fuels their platform. And I think that's the bigger issue there. It's not the message of, oh, this is how artists should shift their work. It's like they don't want to hear it from this dude that everyone feels has been fleecing them. Mm-hmm. The real issue there, the undercurrent, is that something needs to happen to force these streaming services to pay a much more normal rate for licensing plays, and then they pass that on to the advertisers. That's the mechanic that needs to happen. And in the end, the advertisers are going to lose more money than anyone else did, and the musicians are going to make more money.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that at the core, I'll wrap this up, we'll put a bow on it, and then we'll move on. The core of it is that there's different legal rates that you have to pay for radio play versus digital plays, because whatever the legislation was written in like 92 or something like that, but digital plays are worthless, and they don't have, there's no guarantee for, what that should pay out, because they got in there early and negotiated this ridiculous situation. If that changed, if suddenly Spotify had to pay radio rates, or even a tenth of radio rates, it would make being a musician profitable for countless amounts of people, just countless. If you could get actual payment for your streams from these streaming hosting services, that's the reality. It has, And then once people can make a living, guess what's going to happen? People are going to be working their asses off to make good music because there's
There you go.
a competitive marketplace. You have a marketplace where it's not profitable for most people to make music. The people who would have been making great music just can't do it.
There you go.
They can't compete. So
I'm gonna go deal with my issue.
All right, go put out the fires.
Have fun with the chat.
How long do you think you'd be?
Oh, I don't know, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, guys. If anyone wants to try to jump in really quick, I'm going to put a clap here so I know to edit right there when Steve gets back for the audio version. If anyone wants to join, I just dumped the link into the comments on the side. Otherwise, anyone have questions? Anyone want to super chat me to do a stunt? What else do I have around here? I've got this stroke my beard more. And there it is. I was considering letting it grow more than normal for the rest of the summer. We'll see how hot it gets. It's starting to get a little bit of a lean over here, though. It's uneven. So I need to figure out how to just shape the whole thing and do like a, what is that called? A topiary or a hedge sort of thing? Do a reaction to Baby Metal, asks Robot Master Switch. Here's my reaction to Baby Metal. Oh. There you go. A fun story from my week for anyone who didn't watch the Surfy Bear video, I think from this morning, is Surfy Bear is the company that makes the spring reverbs. And they sent me the compact version, which is still big, but a lot smaller than the other one. And the guy who works at the company, my contact over there, is in a surf band called Satan's Pilgrims. And he included a CD from Satan's Pilgrims, Sinestro, an amazing surf band, just amazing. A well-known in our modern era surf band. And as I was filming the video, and I was playing my stupid little licks through this spring reverb, it hit me in the middle of it like, oh my gosh, the guitarist from this amazing band is watching my demo because he's the one that hired me. And I like felt the blood drain from me a little bit. And I started to black out, I think. And, 10 or 15 minutes later, the demo was done. And I was like, oh, bye, everybody. And then I had to go edit it to realize what I had done or not done. And it all came together. But I lost my way for a little bit. And it caused some unique editing to need to happen because I put myself into a little shock coma thinking about the reality of that. But a good guitarist has basically hired me to represent his product. And I'm a much, much worse guitarist. What does that mean? Oh, okay. We've got a super chat here from Saturday Day. $5. Shout out my IG. What's your IG? What's your Instagram handle? I'll shout it out right now. I'll shout it out loud. We've got to have a party. I guess I got to wait for him to answer me. When was the last time you went to the beach? I was there about 2 weeks ago. I was there last week, I think. I went with my family last week. I decided to take a day off, and we went down to the beach and had a good time. I went up to Cardiff Reef. ST Design says Pacific Beach rules. It's all right. It's all right. Sky Tenario asks, how's that new shoegaze affordaboard come in? I need to follow up on that. I have some new stuff that I could throw at the shoegaze concept. I think I need to listen to new shoegaze and give it another stab. All right, Robert's here waiting. Hey, Robert.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I thought I'd jump on here real quick and let you know that your videos actually do work, because look what came in today.
That was quick, dude. I put that video up like 2 days ago.
I know. Amazon 2-day shipping.
Is it new? Do you get a new one?
Yeah, brand spanking new.
Wow.
So some things come in pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yep. So your videos do work. I'm just worried about the Surfy Bear videos now.
Yeah, those are a little bit more expensive. Yeah, I knew people were going to buy those Zooms when I was filming the videos. Like, these are going to sell. I've seen a few affiliate links go. We got Wayne joining. Hey, Wayne.
How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing good. How are you? Maybe he can't hear me.
Yeah,
Wayne, can you hear us?
yeah. I had to mute the.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I started hearing like 3 people at once.
Yeah, I have that problem too sometimes.
I had that problem last week on the computer. That's why I was jumping on, and then I jumped off again. It was just going crazy in my ear.
Yeah, I'm one of your older fans.
Yeah.
I'm like 68 years old. I've been playing for like over 50 years.
Wow.
And I finally obtained a Behringer SF300.
Oh, fun.
Oh man, I'm having a ball with it.
Yeah, that thing is wild. That is a rip and fuzz.
In the 90s, I had the Boss fuzz. I got rid of it because I didn't know. I had no use for it then. Now I wish I had it back.
Yeah, well, you can sell it for a bunch of money now.
Yeah, a lot of old effects. I mean, because I had effects from the 70s, early and mid 70s. A lot of MXR effects. I had a couple of Dan Armstrong orange squeezer compressors. They were great. Yeah.
All right, Steve is back. Let's check in on him. Is your house okay, Steve?
Yeah.
All right, we will resume the podcast then. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry, Sassy. We'll see you guys in the after hangout. I'm going to clap back in. All right, Steve is back.
I never stopped recording, so
It's still standing. Well, I'll still need to edit. So
yeah, I know.
Thank you for not stopping recording. That helps me actually.
All right, this next ad was sent in by Lee Seibert.
What was happening, by the way?
So I think we have this lamp, and it's got a shade that is screwed in above the light bulb, and I have a feeling what happened is it got unscrewed and broke the bulb. But it didn't break it like entirely, so it like cracked the bulb. And so Melissa had it on, and when she went to like try to figure out like why isn't the light coming on, she like touched the bulb, and I think it like shocked her, and then the bulb fell off, so the whole thing just like collapsed.
Gotcha.
So I just basically all I did was replace the light bulb.
All right.
But I mean, that's really scary if like you can't get the light to turn on and you touch it and your lamp shocks you.
Yeah, it's totally scary, for sure. All right, next ad.
Yeah. This was sent in by Lee Seibert. It says, here's a combo of nice working Peavey Bandit 112 trans tube 80-watt amps with extension cabs. Has Sheffield 8-ohm 12-foot speaker in them. Nice tone. Killer overdrive. Everything works as they should. USA made. Red stripe. Collector's amps. Not really. Don't need them anymore. Yeah, neither do we. Foot switch included. Will sell as a pair or all four. $600 for all four or $300 a pair. Near perfect. Yeah.
Now, it's the things that's wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not that just that someone was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I need a Bandit 112. And that's normal. I had a Bandit 112. The crazy thing is when like, oh, you know what? I need the extension cab, so I'll have a 2x12.
No, that's not the crazy part.
What's crazier than that is going, I need 2 Peavey Bandit 1x12 stacks.
Yeah.
The extension cab under each combo amp. And doing the extension cab with a combo amp is kind of sad too.
I think there's some amps where like you can kind of pull it off. This is not one of them.
Yeah, this is wild. This is a wild look for someone to purposely choose in their life and then apparently keep them ungigged because they look brand spanking new, clean. Yeah. They look like they just came out of the box. Also, I got to say, this, in my opinion, this is not the ideal Bandit 112. There's a better Bandit 112.
Which one is that?
It's the one that I had. Same guts, technically, same circuit, same speaker, Sheffield, whatever it is. But the problem is on this new version, yeah, it's got the ugly red stripe. It doesn't look as cool as the silver side stripe version that I had. The switch that goes between clean and overdrive, and then like ultra and crazy overdrive settings, vintage overdrive settings, those switches are just up and down. The version I had push buttons.
Oh.
A button for each option, and you could click them both in and get middle settings. So there were technically 2 overdrive settings on it, like classic and modern, but I could click them both in, and there was a secret third setting.
Oh.
With both of them blended together. Same thing, I think, for like the bright channel or something like that. There were like little quirks like that. Otherwise, it's the same amp. But if I was to get another Bandit, I would want that version versus this version.
Yeah.
But it's just bonkers for someone to own this.
Yeah.
Who's like, yes, this is the amp I will hang my hat on for the next 30 years. I have committed to the double Peavey Bandit stack.
It's odd. And also, this was like the least popular of all of the Bandits, I feel like.
I would respect this more if it didn't have the extension cabs and was just 4 Peavey Bandits. That's 400 watts.
I mean, you're not wrong.
400 watts of Bandit. They're actually great sounding amps for the money, not for this money. 300 for the amp and the extension isn't insane. Like if you really want a Bandit, like that's accessible money. But I'd want to play closer to 200 just because you're actually paying for just the amp and then you're getting with it.
Okay, here's two things. Two things. One, these are not collector's amps.
They are not in any way, and they will not be for another 1,000 years.
2, if these were collector's amps, they're missing the Peavey logo
that it came with.
The trans tube logo, the little triangle that would have been on these.
I also thought that this red stripe version had the newer logo on it. Did this person find vintage badges?
I'm thinking I'm thinking you are also right on that. I'm looking at pictures and I'm not seeing any red stripes. Oh my gosh. Apparently there was a Peavey Bandit that had the old logo and no red triangle. So this is extra rare.
Oh man, it is.
What? Oh, vintage.
Gotta go get that right now.
Oh man. Oh,
on that deal.
Dang, dude.
No, I'd still rather have the push button version. It also had that's the side corner hardware on this version is ugly, and
yeah,
the previous version at least looked like practice amp normal corners, and this is custom molded like weird ripply thing on the sides.
The one on the right looks like it has the feet on the top of the cab, just so you could stack another one on top of it.
That's exactly what that's for, because they know what you're supposed to do with Peavey Bandits. You're supposed to stack them all. Stack them and stack them. One of my favorite things to do with my Bandit was throw a 7-band EQ in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
I swore I could make it sound just like a Mesa.
Boost.
Just scooping the right mids, pushing the right highs, and then pushing all the lows. But I had a lot of fun with a Bandit as a teenager. Like that was a good amp for a teen in the 90s for sure. It was totally giggable too. Plenty loud enough. Loud 100 watts. All right. Do we want to do the album?
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm going to drop it. There is the image. Oingo Boingo, Only a Lad. Had you ever listened to this, Steve?
I've heard 2 songs off of this album, the 2, maybe 3.
Yeah,
but at least 2.
This is one that I'm intimately familiar with. It became a thing for me for a couple of years.
I have a feeling that I've actually probably listened to this entire album with you, like maybe
Probably.
15 years ago.
But you were in the back of my minivan arguing with someone while it was playing.
Probably. That sounds about right. I don't know what to make of this album. I don't know what to make of. I mean,
how familiar with Oingo Boingo were you besides Weird Science?
I'm only the radio stuff. So the 2 songs off of this that were big radio hits, Only a Lad, Little Girls was on the radio, I think. If it was on the radio, it was a single for something. No, it was on the radio. It was Weird Science, Dead Man's Party.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all of them. That's all the ones I know.
That's all you know. Wow.
Those 4 songs.
Huh. Well,
I mean, I've probably heard other songs on in 80s movies or something, right?
Sure,
But
for sure. And you know who is in Oingo Boingo, right? You've got to.
Danny Elfman.
Yes. So you've heard Danny Elfman for your whole life.
Yeah.
Sorts of stuff. And you can hear a lot of what was to come in this album. Like a lot of stuff that happens is like, oh, there's Jack Skellington. Oh, there's that Budweiser commercial that they did. The proto of what would become soundtracks and things for your anime.
Right. And so that's both what made this album. Let's just get into it.
Man, did you
opening track? I don't think you could write that song now.
You could definitely write it. I don't think you can get away with it. And it's hard because it's such a fun sounding song. And it's such an earworm.
Right.
Just like, yeah, it's just a blast. But then the lyrics are very creepy. But then is it any different? And the answer is no. Is it any different from the flute guy, Aqualung? Is it any different from the song Aqualung?
I don't know what the song Aqualung. I don't.
You're like a dirty man in the park watching the young.
Oh,
girl.
really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like it's explicit. Like it is saying like, oh, here's a guy. He's watching all these young girls.
Yeah. So I guess the whole thing is he's basically just said that this song was he would just sit around and think of characters, and this was a character he thought up. Was a guy who.
Well, I mean, you listen to the rest of the album, and it's clearly not autobiographical.
Right, and so that's the thing is it's always.
Also,
it's just nuts. Nuts.
I read a thing from him because everyone's got to want to know, especially now in these modern ages, what was that song all about? But it's been a thing for a while. Like,
yeah,
asking him like, hey, what's the deal with this song? Like, I love little girls too little, and he's given answers ranging from, oh, I was trying to be over the top and controversial, or is trying to get a reaction or whatever, to it like reactions saying that he had a dream about girls of wildly different sizes, some as small as like his hand or something.
Yeah. Well, the music video is him like in his house dancing around with girls and people and people with dwarfism.
Oh wow!
And then I guess at some point he's walking down the street with a girl, and it's at least implied that people are staring at him and this girl because she's underage.
But it's clear that's what the song is about. Like, it's not like you'd have to be thinking really abstract for this to be an abstract concept. It's right. Is it like I said? Is it any different from Aqualung? Is it any different from Don't Stand Too Close to Me? Is this a pedophile's anthem?
Right, and that's the thing. And it's like his whole thing was like, oh, I just think of weird stuff. Some of the ideas for the album in general, he said that he just.
By the way, this is a terrible thing to laugh at.
Yeah, he said that he pulled like the ideas for some of the other songs on the album just straight out of like he'd read a news article in the Los Angeles Times or whatever, and be like, "I'm going to write a song about this bored. I'm going to imagine a kid who's bored at home and he's able to do it because his parents are capitalists. I'm going to write a song called Capitalism, and it's going to be about this kid who's bored at home. I'm going to write a song about a boy who." He does all of these terrible things and everyone's like, boys will be boys.
Yeah.
You know, and so and his whole thing is like, oh, it's just like this idea, you know, like whatever, like I just have these ideas. Aside from that, like, I don't want to go too much into that. It's kind of weird. My problem is maybe like,
that was a hit. It's crazy that Little Girls was a hit.
Yeah.
It had a music video and is a song that, you know, blew them up basically.
I think my take on this album is
it's on a weird band on their first album. Like, hey, let's lead with this. That's society.
Right.
Oh yeah, we like this.
I think some of, like you said, there's moments in this where I'm like, yeah, like whoever is writing the music to the song, which of course is Danny Elfman, is like clearly knows what they're doing. Like the music is really,
oh my goodness,
it's really interesting. There's a lot going on. That being said, I feel like about halfway through, I was like, can I just take all of these tracks and spread them out over like an 80s? Like after like 2 or 3 tracks, like, can I listen to some Talking Heads? Can I throw in some
you just wanted to make a playlist,
some New Order? Like, I need to break up like the wackiness of this with some, like, I can fit this in with other 80s artists and just call it an 80s playlist and be fine, but trying to listen to 12 straight tracks of this was a little exhausting.
I wanted it to not stop, but honestly YouTube took me into more Oingo Boingo albums immediately after that, and I was like, man, I wish I could just sit and listen to this all day.
Yeah, it did that for me too, but thankfully I listened to this at the end of my workday. It was the last thing I did before I went home, so I had to go home. I had to come home to make this podcast.
Yeah. To make the real money, right?
Yeah. But so in that, I don't know how the reception would have been as well back then. I kind of feel like this is Oingo Boingo the Weezer of the 80s? Are they really just a novelty band?
They weren't big enough to be the Weezer of the 80s.
No, I get that. I just like, when I was listening, I'm like, was this? And I guess that you can spread that out for like all of New Wave. Like, is this real? Is this how much of this is a serious effort? How much of this is a joke that Danny Elfman is pushing on the rest of the world?
See, here's I took a big New Wave dive probably right after or right around when I met you.
Mm-hmm.
But like all through the 90s, New Wave was like, why would anyone listen to that tacky stuff? Like, that's like weird 80s stuff, and it's like joke music, right? Because the 90s were so serious and cynical and sarcastic and we were all busy watching The Crow and listening to Alanis Morissette. We couldn't be bothered with neon checkers. So I had only heard Dead Man's Party, Weird Science from radio or whatever when I was a kid, and then I just bought this album on a whim from Lose Records, a used CD or whatever, and I was listening to it while I was in college age, and it just started I started hearing the layers of it, and not just being like, ha ha ha, Weird Science, ha ha, but like hearing the layers of the instrumentation and everything that's going on, and I just fell deeply in love with Oingo Boingo. And then moved on to exploring a lot of other new wave stuff and just really learning to appreciate the era,
right?
And the genre.
I do wonder, like, with that is particularly, I don't know how this compares to other songs. Just thinking about the singles, I guess Weird Science is, I would say fits in with this, but like Dead Man's Party, I feel is very like the vocals are very even keeled on Dead Man's Party. I feel like compared to Weird Science or compared to like anything on this album, and so I think that's part of that like exhaustion. Like the music was pretty interesting to me. Actually, I was surprised because I just don't think about it, I guess, how much guitar was on this album, and there were a number of guitar sounds where I was like, gosh, man, that's like perfect overdrive. That's like the perfect overdrive sound.
Whoa, that's the best overdrive on the planet.
like literally like my note on I think I guess it was the third song, Perfect System. I said this album already has more guitar than I expected.
Here's something that I wrote. It's amazing how Oingo manages to balance manic dissonance while maintaining a tightness and pop/hook sensibility that sounds like the band couldn't miss a beat if they tried.
Right.
To me, it's like fair. Everything musical about it was insanely tight and just on the groove mechanically. And it's all real. It's came out in 81. It's all recorded on tape with actual instruments like that. Danny Elfman playing like the marimba. That's not a synth. Right. That the instrumentation is all real. It's not triggered or anything. Like a band played this, and it's just a trip to me, like how musically good it is to me, anyways, and how much like how poppy some of the songs can be, and how pop culture friendly they can be, to the point where Danny Elfman can become one of the top soundtrack composers,
right,
of the last 20 years or whatever. It's just wild that like the songs are so crazy, but in like a poppy sort of way.
Yeah, like I said, I think my thing again was just I didn't have any issues with the music side. I think the ups and downs and just the vocals, I think is probably what tired me out more than anything.
It's a very theatrical vocal. Sometimes he's like doing like
that's a good,
like he's like got this angry yell sort of thing. I don't know if you know anything about Oingo Boingo, but they
were a theater troupe, or it started. That's where the name came from. It was like a theater troupe.
Yeah, the name was the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos that like, predate Oingo Boingo from the Mystic Knights. And like, they were this weird arty, like, let's dress up like devils and dancing around a fog machine and do like Pee Wee Herman style set work and stuff like that. And for it to, there should be a documentary about it. I'd watch the crap out of it. The transition from like some sort of art performance group into one of the damn tightest bands that I listen to and enjoy is got to be an incredible transition, or maybe it's just boring. I don't know. So obviously I like it. You sounded like you got a little tired of it. It wasn't your thing. You don't like his voice. Now you know how I feel about.
I get. Well, it's not even that I don't like his voice. It's that like after 4 or 5 songs of it, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like.
It's like a vaudeville guy just screaming, barking stuff.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you have a really wide vocal range, and you really want me to know about it. Yeah, I had a couple other notes. Did every band in the 80s cover You Really Got Me?
I forgot that track was on here. I had to look it up. Came out, 3 years. No, it came out a couple of years after Van Halen's Take On, whether it be 2 years or 3 years or whatever. I think they were trying to chase after Devo with that one. Devo doing Satisfaction, and then there's some sort of combination of Danny Elfman going like, "Oh, Devo can do it. I'm going to do tongue-in-cheek cover."
Right.
And Van Halen did it. I'm going to go and attack it with my own like kind of technical sort of thing, because
Yeah.
the places it goes and the things it does. I mean, I love the Devo version of Satisfaction, but that's not what this is. This is a reimagining of the song.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the Devo version of Satisfaction is it's a lot more listenable.
The Devo version is a deconstruction of the song. You think it's more listenable? Man, I think the Oingo Boingo, You Really Got Me is a piece of art.
I think because I think it's a piece of art.
I love Devo and I love their cover of Satisfaction, but if I had to take one out of bed, it would be Devo on this one.
I think the Devo version of Satisfaction makes sense to me because it's like still Satisfaction. It's just like the Devo version of it. I guess what I didn't like about it is there was enough You Really Got Me that I was like, okay, I know what song this is, but then there were certain like melodic changes where I was just like, what? Why did this happen?
Fun, because it was wild. It was
I
crazy.
guess.
It went crazy places, and I was fully entertained the entire time.
I'll just say that was easily my least favorite song, I think, on the album.
What's your most favorite?
I will say I don't know if I had a favorite. The song Controller I thought was interesting just because this album came out in 1981, and Controller has a lot of like third wave ska elements that I attribute to like 1995 in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And I think it's really just like Oingo Boingo is really good with their use of horns.
Yeah.
And so doing like these super melodic horn parts over guitar just makes me think of ska. So
sure.
That was cool. The song What You See had some really cool bass on it.
Okay.
The end of Imposter sounded like Presidents.
I could get that. On the Outside is like an anthem for me. It's probably the most poppy song. No, Girls was the most poppy song. Little Girls, but it's icky to think about.
Isn't it just? It's icky to say, right?
It's cringy. I don't. I want to hear the song because it's an earworm, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it. On the Outside is just a song that I very deeply gravitated to just for its feel and being angsty when I discovered it and whatnot. Probably now if I re-listen to it, there would probably be another one that I would pick. But yeah, that's a track for me. I'm on the outside now. It's a fun song. Yeah. All right. Housekeeping?
Yeah, this is a part of the show where we thank everybody who supports the show. So thank you, everybody who supports the show.
If you want to, you hold down the mic.
If you want to support us monetarily at some point in the future, you can head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for the low price of $1 a month, I will say your name on this show. I will say thank you, person at the $1 level. And at the $2 level, I will do that. At the $5 level, I will send you a little merch pack. At the $10 level, I'll send you a merch pack with some $10 level stuff. I got a couple people I need to send some stuff to. So
yeah, you do.
There you go. That's it. Head on over to patreon.com, and thanks everyone else who supports the show.
Yeah, I just balanced our books the other day, and we're not in the black right now, but we're not as in the red as we could be, and it's all thanks to the Patreon. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I also want to give a little teaser for the next 3 weeks.
How about teaser?
We're not going to do album reviews. We're going to do movie reviews.
Oh, yeah.
A seminal trilogy. We're going to do Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. So are we going to try to go see that in theater, or do you just want to video on demand it?
I assumed we would video on demand it or VOD.
Okay.
If you're, if you know the speak, VOD it. But I don't know if we could somehow go to the theater together. I think that would be a fantastic experience.
Yeah, I'm game. It's tougher for scheduling, but
I know. I know
because otherwise I'll just watch it in 2 installments while I put my kid to bed, which usually takes about an hour. So that's when I get my personal TV time in.
I'm really looking forward to the new one, and I'm looking forward to revisiting.
It looks really good, right?
It does look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Here's
what's
the thing, what I was thinking about is like, it would be really hard to disappoint with it because the framework is the parts that matter are locked in solid. It's the personalities, the heart of the whole thing. If they mess with the heart of the characters, which I doubt they will, then that'll screw it up. But the rest of the storyline it doesn't matter. It's comical. It's a comical version of a sci-fi thing. And it's like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if they screw up details. It doesn't matter if it doesn't pay the right fan service. As long as the heart is there, I think I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, well, I think this I think this series works in a way where it doesn't. If this was a a 2 hour and a half of all fan service, it would fit in with the theme of the movies. The one thing I will say that I was like, it was like a sad moment, not sad bad, just like a sad aw. Is in one of the trailers, Kristen Schaal is in it.
Oh, okay.
From Flight of the Conchords, and I like how I still refer to her as Flight of the Conchords, even though I've seen her in like 10,000 things.
She's in everything.
But her character's name is Kelly, and Kelly Carlin was George Carlin's daughter. So that name, gave her character that name as a nod.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm already sad just saying it.
Yeah. Are we going to cry watching Bill and Ted?
I hope so. That's my plan.
Maybe we should live stream ourselves watching it.
2 hour long live. No, thank you.
We will do a great service to the whole crew over there and pirate their movie and display it to YouTube.
Well, no, we won't display it. We'll just film ourselves. Like I'll film myself as I hold my phone. It'll just be. You'll just see this the whole time.
Yeah.
No way. So yeah, that's cool. You ready to hit this last ad? Last series of ads,
and then we'll do like a hangout for a half an hour. Oh yeah, we have two. No, we did the Peaveys. We've only got one ad left.
This is a group of expensive, wacky paint jobs sent to us by Kevin Hernandez.
Oh, no, what are you looking at? That is not what we're doing.
Oh, is that not what we're doing?
Vintage Handmade, Michael Kraus.
Oh.
You were the one who put the other one in there, and I didn't have time to throw it into slides.
I did not see this one in there.
Well, there it is.
This one was sent by Michael Kraus. Yeah. Oh, this is the one that's on Goodwill that supposedly sold for like $300.
Why? How?
$260.
If this can sell for $260, then I might be able to start being a luthier. I could make this.
It only has 3 strings. One of them is broken.
It has potential for 6, Steve. Don't mislead by omitting facts.
Oh, sorry. There's 4 strings on this. I thought there were only 3.
This is not a 4-string instrument. It just happens to be missing a few strings. It can be saved. I have trouble describing what we're looking at here for the audio podcast listeners. Kind of an earwiggy sort of shape, quadruple bottle opener sort of shape.
All right, here's what this is. This is a guitar. It has the top end, so like the upper and lower horns of a Rickenbacker.
Well, they're kind of like if Dan Electro tried to copy a Rickenbacker sort of hook.
It's got the butt of an alembic.
Yeah.
It's got the 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of wood neck through construction of an alembic. It's got a back contour.
The mind of a wolf and the heart of a man.
It's funny that you said wolf because I was trying to figure out what the back of the body looks like, and it is indeed some kind of like a bobcat or some kind of predator.
I don't think they were going for any specific shape. I think they were just like, oops, we made this too thin. Well, it's an acoustic. I think that might be like a bowl, like trying to do like an
yeah.
It's like an ovation bowl that they've carved into the back of this, which is wild. It looks like a shark egg. You know the shark egg sacks that look like purses?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Or it looks like a like one of those wontons, a pot sticker. It looks like a pot sticker.
I almost wonder if this popped up on like some collector site as being a thing. Like this
A proto.
this mishmash of weirdness has like all of the nuts and bolts to be something like really interesting.
It could be a fun guitar. I'm gonna bet money it's not, but it could be.
But that's what I mean. Like, who says, "Hey, I'm gonna build a semi-hollow instrument. I'm gonna carve this totally wacky bridge thing."
So I've got a picture that shows the edges of the frets there, and I mean, it looks like the same kind of fretwork that was on my mom's 80s Honer that I learned on. So it looks like fine sort of factory frets for the time. This is 70s to early 80s.
Yeah. The fretboard has some weird shape going on at the end.
Yeah, another earwig sort of thing, double hook with a weird little bulb in there.
And that bulb's got a fret marker in it.
Yeah, what do you think that is? Like the 23rd fret? It might be the 26th.
I mean, I think it's just decorative.
Yeah, you could hit that with a string.
Yeah.
It's got a thick bridge saddle on it. This is an acoustic guitar with an electric wing set on it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to be like an ovation-y sort of thing, some sort of lute sort of concept. The apples look like cartoon eyeballs. Do you see that?
Yeah, maybe this is actually supposed to be some kind of weird looking cat.
Well, maybe the bridge, because the bridge is like almost like a Nickelodeon splatter shape going one direction.
Yeah.
Like a drippy psychedelic sort of thing. Or it could be like some sort of weird lumpy mustache. I'm seeing a really cute Pokemon emerge from this. Are you seeing a Pokemon right now?
So you're saying that somebody paid $260 for this because they felt like they had to catch them all?
I'm just say it right now, guys. This is not the 420 week. Is that a Pokemon guitar? Are you seeing a Pokemon in that guitar?
I mean, I can kind of see a Pokemon in this guitar.
I think there's a Pokemon in that guitar. Look at his cute little face. And there's like his ears, and those are little feet. I need to do a little drawing to show what I'm seeing.
I understand what you're saying. I see it. It kind of looks like a Shy Guy. You know what a Shy Guy is?
No, but it sounds
not a Shy Guy. It's a ninja from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh yeah. I could see that. Yeah, totally. I don't know. Someone paid $200-something for this. They must have wanted to make a donation to the Goodwill.
I guess. I
would have top bid $65 on this. It's just too arts and crafts looking. It's too like woodshop county fair display sort of thing, wood class display, where it's like this too wonky in too many ways. It's nothing more than a curiosity, and if it happens to be a good player, then that's amazing. But I'm gonna guess by the condition of the strings that no one was excited to play this.
Well, I mean, it's in a Goodwill, man.
Yeah, but how did it? That's another point, dude. How did it end up in a Goodwill? You know,
someone wasn't excited to play this,
right? Yeah.
I mean, maybe like that's what I'm saying. Maybe this was actually a prototype alembic that the alembic guy
Walker and alembic were having secret talks and like, let's do something together. They did this. They looked at each other and like, we will never speak of this.
And so it's just been sitting in an attic for the last
they threw it in the
30
ocean.
years.
They threw it in the ocean and it drifted away, and it just recently drifted back on shore. And whoever plays it is gifted with superpowers that are also a curse.
Are you saying that there is a soul trapped in this guitar
Yes.
And somebody tried to free it by throwing this guitar in the ocean and letting it drift away.
Yes.
Okay.
This is haunted. This is a haunted cursed guitar. It's definitely cursed.
I'm ready to do.
You
Ready to
want-
get out of here?
Yeah, talk about the song, and then we'll do half-hour hangout.
Yep. This
YouTube
song was sent by Mick G back in December. This song is called Dahtahn Surfing.
Oh, fun.
Dahtahn Surfing. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
All right, audio people, have a good one.
Enjoy the song and stay grounded. Hey, everybody. It's hangout chat time.
Save project.
Click the link if you want. Don't click it if you don't want.
Hey, do you have any idea
No, I don't.
when we are both talking at the same time, does it cut the audio on your end?
Let's try. I'm talking right now. You try.
No, it definitely does it on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
I
I
notice it all the time.
don't think it's ever done it on my side. Maybe it's just trying to save bandwidth since you're not the host.
Yeah. I was just wondering, maybe I was trying to figure out if there's a way that I can I wonder if I plugged my headphones into my computer.
No, there's no way.
Shut up.
Oh, man. I am going to drop the link into the Facebook group as well. Anyone got some cool stories from their week? Yeah, I'm on Facebook right now. This is awful to watch and listen to, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Say some things.
All right,
I'm gonna
Rob.
talk at the same time as you.
Hey,
Hey,
Robert.
we're back.
I think it still cuts out when
We all
I talk
check
at the same time as all right.
I hear that when I see you guys do that as well. It's a little bit of cutout.
So if I could just go,
And if Steve starts talking, or I start talking, you kind of cut out. Yep. Wonderful technology.
yeah, billions of dollars in technological advancements and infrastructure. We're just on the internet.
I do have a question for you, Ryan.
Oh, I have an answer.
Saturday.
Oh,
Charles,
How much time do you have?
I don't know. I don't know.
You had mentioned in one of the other, I don't remember if it was either the Facebook or something about the pickups that were in that Jensen Jazzman that I got.
Yes.
From that you were kind of curious about it. I thought maybe I could bring it and you could take a look at it and see what you thought.
I won't have time on Saturday to do anything with it. If you have a weekday where you want to do that, I'm down.
Oh, I was thinking maybe you just want to take a look at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just take a look. Oh, I thought you meant like
Yeah.
film it or something like that.
If you wanted to do that, we could do something like that at a later time. I just thought I'd bring it to you just to check it out so you can see what the pickups look like and stuff.
Yeah, bring it with you. I'd definitely love to take a look at it. Maybe
Okay.
strum it a little bit.
Robot Master Switch is asking Mr. Meadowfield how deep he is into bowel movements. I don't understand.
Hey,
I don't think he means Steve.
hey, Sassy.
Okay.
By the way, just a sec. The secret meeting that Robert and I are talking about is he spoke up in the unboxing video to claim the Glary. So I'm giving him the Glary and all its partsy goodness. He's going to get the body, the neck, and a bag of parts. I looked at it the other day and I was like, do I even want to spend the time putting it back together? I was like, no, I don't want to.
Me and a gunsmith buddy have been talking about it, and we're it's going to get stripped down, I have to admit.
Good.
But this is going to turn in to the Silver Surfer.
Okay.
Oh,
You know that it's not wood under there, right? It's got to be like paper mache or something.
We will be very careful, I'm sure, but I understand that with the Hydro Dip and the clear coat, it's probably going to be a little thick for sanding. So we thought we might try using a stripper, I think, probably just to get it down a little first.
With stripper or a heat gun or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to try that on Saturday after I see you. So,
okay.
Yeah, but we're going to turn it into the Silver Surfer. We even found a couple of logos on Amazon that we can stick underneath it before the clear coat goes on top of it. So,
oh my gosh. Make sure you take lots of pictures and post them to the group or wherever. Send them to us and we'll do a piece on it or whatever.
That sounds good. Since you didn't do it.
When I gave away, no, I sold that Firefly double cut thing that I had decorated, and it went to a guy who's out far in East County, and he asked like, "Oh, when I fix it up, can I send you pictures and stuff?" Like, yes, please. Yeah, I want to see what you do with it. Wayne is back. Welcome back, Wayne.
How you doing, Wayne?
Yeah, hi. Do you ever do anything with Epiphone? Epiphone.
You got a lot of noise on your side.
No, I'm sorry. Okay.
It might be a fan or something. But I think you were. I'm going to mute you, but I think you asked if I'd ever do anything with Epiphone.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so I mean, I've done Epiphone stuff. I covered the SL. I cover Epiphone stuff when I go to NAMM as much as I can, and they do not typically work with demo channels. Like I have a thing with Fender where I can hit them up and ask for squires, or request various things and get them from time to time. As far as I know, except for like a few random people, like they don't do like business contact stuff. And it's hard for me to get excited about dropping $400 on an Epiphone when I'm really not even that style of guitar player. Like I like a Fender style stuff. But every now and then something comes up and I'm like, oh, maybe I should get, an Epiphone. Like I really like the Groat thing that I have, the jazz guitar. I wouldn't mind messing around with the Epiphone Century, which is what it's based on. So I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't want to mess around with Epiphone, but it's hard for me to want to invest in it right now. And I know that I can't beg for it, which is a little, stupid to say, but that's part of the business.
I have two Epiphones. Both of them are SGs. One of them's got the, kill tone pot, and the other one is just pretty much standard. Somebody did a really interesting Hydro Dip paint job on that one with the black and the yellow and the greenish in with it, and it really did look cool. And the other one was just the standard wood color, and I actually just got done putting on a Bigsby on that one. With the Vibramate and things. And I like them. I mean, they're kind of cool. But I'm so eclectic in everything. I don't have a favorite anything really.
I don't have anything against Epiphone. It's just like there's various reasons why I'm not gonna devote a lot of time to covering them. So it's I did the SL. Maybe I got burnt out on Epiphone because of the SL. But I think they make good stuff for people that want that style guitar. I honestly prefer to buy a bunch of Epiphones than one Gibson. But that's my mentality anyways,
Well, I know my Groat came in on Monday, and
it sounds like a medical problem.
Yeah, I know, doesn't it? But the new tuners and the strings, because I know you said that the tuners on them weren't very good and stuff. So yeah, but I got a set of hip shop for those, so locking ones. So yeah,
the jazz style one with the P90.
Yes, exactly, the one like you have. Yeah. I know when you first had the video up on it, I went right for it, and they did have one, and I kind of waited one day thinking, do I or do not? And the next thing you know, it was gone. Ugh. But I kept it in my save folder, and I just kept looking, and all of a sudden one came up. I grabbed it. They had one of the Sunburst ones as well, but it was only one of each, so I got
Right.
the red one.
Yeah. I think the sunburst looks good, but I prefer having the red one around the house. I think it just accents things a little better.
Yeah, but this whole channel is just, it's ruined me for getting stuff.
You got the Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And I'm giving you a guitar on Saturday.
I'm thinking, okay, now how do I want to work this Surfer Bear stuff?
At some point, I'll start to feel bad, and I'll need to cut you off and be like, "You."
Oh no, dude! It is so much fun. I mean, I haven't been doing this. Maybe I tried to start to learn to play when I was 15, and developed a ganglion cyst, and I had to stop because I couldn't hold down the strings, and I had it surgically operated on. Then I started to grow a little older, and of course, other things came around, and now I'm just at a point where I need something just to sit on the back porch and bang around with. But I found out that I am a heck of a lot. I'm learning more of fixing and understanding the working operations of a guitar between frets and nuts and tuners and things and bridges and that kind of stuff. Much better than that than actually, playing. I think I said something earlier today in some of your "what are we going to talk about" type things about. For us newbies that are starting out, especially if you wanted to take guitar lessons, well, right now it's kind of difficult to do so. So looking online, and I was wondering if you guys had any comments or anything like that about, like Fender Play or something of that nature there as a learning platform to start even for the basics.
I've tried Guitar Tricks and I've tried Fender Play. I signed up for Fender Play at when the pandemic went down, and they were like, "Hey, everyone can get 3 months free if you want to sign up right now." I signed up to check it out, and I'm sure it's over now. But I spent some time looking around at a few lessons there. I had been familiar with Guitar Tricks. I think that Fender Play is squarely aimed at the beginner. That's what the vast majority of the content is aimed at. And just the way it's presented, and it's very slow and very deliberate, and it's like, put your finger here, like that sort of stuff. I think it's got a lot better production quality. Like Fender really went all out on their studio and whatnot, and made it a very easy and palatable sort of layout. But I think Guitar Tricks is the nitty gritty that I connect with. Like if I could go back to 1995 or whatever, give myself that website, I would have learned a lot very, very quickly. That I didn't learn very, very quickly on my own because you couldn't watch videos and stuff on the internet when I first got it. But I just like they give you a lesson, and it usually has like 8 videos in it going through the progressions of the song to show you each part and how to put them together and various concepts and whatnot. And they have a very quick rundown of the gear that you might need and whatever to nail a certain sound. But it's just very organized, and they provide scrolling tabs with it while you're playing along. And I think it's a good system. I actually have affiliate link with them that almost never gets used. I put it in a couple of videos, but as part of my deal with them, they're like, "Hey, will you promote us with affiliate links?" I was like, "Well, hey, can I have like an admin login? Not an admin, but like a
user or admin account, so like you can go in
a guest login." And so they gave me a guest login, so I get to go use it, and I use it to brush up on things from time to time and learn, modes and a little ditty every now and then. And I think it's a superior system. So Fender Play for the type of player that I am.
Sounds good.
And that's not just because I might make $1 someday. Literally $1, maybe. I don't know.
Poor Steve sitting there so quiet.
I've only used Guitar Tricks a couple times, so I don't really have a lot of input on this one.
There's so much available for free too. Like even when I started out in the 90s, there was homemade tabs online that could get you most of the way there. And for someone like me who likes to spend a lot of time improvising, most of the way there is close enough for sure. Like as I was looking up, tabs for like TV theme songs and stuff like that. Like I want to learn how to play the Flintstones theme, the Pink Panther.
The Munsters. I've always liked the Munsters.
I love the Munsters theme. You could find all that.
You did a little bit of that today too.
Oh, I do it all the time too. You can find just novelty tabs and fun tabs and whatever you want online. And then you sit there and listen to the music and try to pick it out. Like, is that really the right note? And you do a lot of learning through experimenting that way, I think. I think it's almost more fun to have an imperfect version of what you're trying to learn. And then you can fill it in like with a puzzle,
No, I agree. I mostly it's just noodling.
Yeah.
And yep. I know Steve was talking about his Eastwood. That's your bass, right?
Yeah, it's this one right here.
The one straight back. I've been noticing a lot of the Eastwood style guitars on Reverb, and those things look so cool.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they've gone in and their core lineup is very referential to a lot of 60s stuff, some lesser. So like the Eastwood Classic 4 and Classic 6 are both nods to Gretsch guitars. The Airline that Ryan has, which is actually, you can see it on his screen too, right?
I got one of those too.
Yeah, right there. That's also made by Eastwood. And really the only thing that I think is I guess the consistent complaint that I see about them from different places is just that it's particularly in the case of the Airline stuff.
Get to it, man.
Is that they aren't construction correct.
Oh, sure. No, they're not vintage correct to the thing that they're emulating at all. They're an approximation of the aesthetic of it. And I think that's one of my things. Like, I love Eastwood, the Eastwoods that I've played and the Airlines that I've played. But if they do, say, a Vox Phantom, like I was talking about way earlier in the show, it's not going to have hardware anything like an original Phantom. Its neck, its frets, the pickups, everything like that is going to be not at all the same.
Yeah.
And so you'll get the aesthetic, you'll get the vibe, but you will not get anything approximating the real experience. They're going to put either a Jazzmaster style offset trim on it, or they're going to put some sort of approximation of a Bigsby on it. The pickups are going to be a modern interpretation with a different, shape and things like that. So they have done very, very, like they did the Teisco Spectre 5, and they did that one very, very close. But a lot of them are just like, oh, here's kind of an interpretation, And the
your Airline is the 3P that you have. Is that is that a vintage one, or is that a?
No, it's a modern one. It's their version. The vintage ones were made out of fiberglass, and the Eastwood version is made out of wood. But they were hollow fiberglass with a wood stringer that was a couple inches wide down the middle. So very unique guitars, the original Airlines, and the pickups were a very specific thing. Eastwood did they're not humbuckers; they are a single coil underneath those. So in the same kind of style as those Supro Airline pickups that were in the originals. And not really.
I have one. I think I sent you pictures of the black one that I found local here.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a fairly decent deal.
Yeah, they're really cool. I had the Telecaster version too, and I was just like, I can't justify having two of these. And I have the Jennings to be my Telecaster now. So it was tough, but I sold it. And then I used the money to fund my Jaguar. So what were you going to say, Steve?
I don't know. Oh, I was going for some reason I was going to say I thought you sold the other one, and then you said that you did. So there you go. Now who's not getting to it?
Robert and I have just been chatting, and we won't let you boys get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
So now Sassy and Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
I was going to say, Sassy, what's going on with you lately?
Well, after looking at the screen here for the last 5-10 minutes, I feel like I have come facially underdressed.
I saw that in a lot of chats today.
It's the very first time I was on, and I went back later, watched the playback, and somebody was making the comment about how my 5 o'clock shadow was looking rather, I was looking like a homeless person or whatever. So I've ever since then decided, okay, so if I'm going to be on the podcast, I'm going to make sure that I shave so that way I look somewhat presentable and don't look like, the guy who just walked out of the hobo camp or, with my little cardboard sign, please help, all you can spare. Thank you and God bless.
I saw a lot of those that were coming up that says that everybody that was popping on, it's like, okay, everybody, you got to have a beard to be on this thing.
I don't got glasses. I don't fit in either.
Hey,
no, I don't have to have these on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Now I'm the anti. Whatever.
If I don't have mine on, I'm not going to be able to read anything.
Well, I figure for chat, I can barely make out that it says mic, cam, chat, leave, cam, mic, whatever, and the little box over here to the side that says you're in the show.
Ah, yes.
So it's like, what do I really need to read or whatever? And unless somebody pulls a link up or something from a page and displays it, and then got to grab the glasses and got to.
In the chat, SD Design asks if I listen to space podcasts. I actually don't really listen to any science podcasts. Probably
at work.
That's true. Probably the closest that I listen to like Freakonomics. I'll listen to Planet Money. So is economics a science? I'm not sure. It's not even economics. It's like pop economics.
Right.
And then I listen to
like a philosophy, isn't it?
What's that?
Economics is like closer to like a philosophy than a science, right? Because it's more like an interpretation of available data than regular sciences,
Yeah, and for what it's worth, like Freakonomics is more like applying the principles of an economics to like not always weird situations, but so they might talk about like Moneyball with baseball,
right? And
then the other thing, I guess that's the closest to it. Again, closest to a science podcast, but really isn't, is 99% Invisible, which is actually a design podcast, but it's a lot of like architecture. It started out of like an architecture idea, and it's just looking at like the history of design, and a lot of times that can come out of like a mathematical place, I guess. That's it. No science podcasts.
Yeah. Work at work. I don't clock out and go listen to guitar podcasts. That's what I do at work. I'm done.
I watch a lot of YouTube Guitar Channel stuff. I don't really listen to podcasts much.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you, Sassy.
The Dave's World of Fun stuff, Dylan Talks Tone, guys like that. That's the stuff I'm watching.
Yeah. So. Surfy Sonic has joined.
Hello.
In our last 5 minutes.
Framing this video to obscure the jar of mayonnaise, just out of shock.
I know. I'm still hurting. Still hurting from that. That's a joke that just went wrong. Every time my wife's like, "Do you want some tuna?" I go, "No, not really yet. No, can't do it."
Your last doctor's appointment, the doctor's just like, "You did what?"
It just left me with the weirdest, and I'm like, it must be salmonella or something. But I nothing horrible happened. But now I'm like totally turned off to it. I just can't touch it.
You're cured. You are cured of
I'm
mayonnaise.
cured. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hi, Robert. Hi, Sassy Cat. Hi, Steve.
Hey,
And I enjoyed your demo of the compact Surfy Bear. I just did one on the classic, but I'm probably going to get a compact at some point.
The compact is great. It's a totally different voicing when you compare them. Like it's the sort of thing where like you wouldn't notice it if you just had one of them at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back, it's like an EQ difference. Like it's this.
Right.
Like one's dark, one's bright, one's hollow, one's got a mid push. You know, it's kind of different. And I think it's just because of the pan. It's just because of the springs.
Right. I did the same thing that you did. I did a video. I did a whole thing for it's like 40 minutes. I'm like, this damn thing doesn't work very well until I turned it over. And of course, I ignored the big red sticker that said, take the foam out of the bottom that's protecting the springs during transport. And of course, I let I put the updated version. I said, full disclosure, I did another video and I screwed up. And Ted, the drummer from Satan's Pilgrims who works at Surfy Bear, he's like, don't worry, don't feel bad. Everybody does it. He gets a call once a week. He's an amazing drummer. That band's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I assumed he was one of the guitarists.
No.
I never looked at like the band roster to see whose names were. And he works for a guitar pedal company, so why would I think he's a drummer?
And as well, Surfer Joe. God, from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
He's I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but he's
Can't
also part
Bernard. Is it Bernard? Is it like Bernard or something like that?
No, it's gosh. I met him at Surf Guitar Convention a couple of years back too.
I met him at NAMM. I can't believe I can't remember it.
Yeah, it's terrible. I meant to ask on your Jag. Is that one of the '60s lacquer?
No, it's an early '80s poly. You know.
Oh, okay.
Red metal.
Still sounded great. Still sounded great.
Yeah.
Sorry, surf nerd.
It's got AVR pickups in it though, and it's got I put a American Vintage reissue tremolo in it as well. So.
I don't know if you ever followed on. I don't know if you ever go to Offset Guitar.
I do. I just want to. This is the most on topic podcast we've done probably in years.
I came in really late. I apologize. I'm a gaming nerd, and I was doing an Elder Scrolls session thing, so I was kind of tied up. I'm going to have to tell my friend I'm not available on Thursdays anymore. So, I feel really bad about jumping in late on this, but
yeah, suck it, friend.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. We're going to do stuff for that, but so on Offset Guitar Forum, my good friend from Canada, Mike Ben Ezra, he had we've traded vintage guitars and stuff, and we just did a trade where I gave him a 6120 Gresh for a 66 Mustang, and plus I'm not a purple guy, but I got a purple Mastery tremolo system and bridge. I'm like, well, it's only going to go in my shell pink because it's the only thing that's going to work. Yeah, but I have to re-drill holes. But anyway, the 66 Mustang he traded me is, have you ever heard of the Stripper Stang? It was the one it was a stripped Mustang, and the pickguard, the original 66 pickguard, somebody pulled a Ryan basically and did sprinkle sparkle dust, and the glitter,
all right,
all over it, and then lacquered over or clear coated over it.
Oh my gosh!
So I got it. So it's been known as the Stripper Stang, on that forum, and he at the time when he owned it, he was asking people, hey, what's the best way to get off? And everybody saying maybe use some light sanding or whatever. When I saw it, I was like, I'm not even going to fool with this. So I took it to my guitar tech today, and he put some kind of alcohol thing on there, spirit, and then he was able with a razor blade to actually lift up. So he figures with warming it and everything, he'll be able to pull up the whole thing, and we might get the original guard back in its. And then I'm going to refinish it back to a Olympic white.
Oh, nice.
You
I
know?
wonder-
All right, we're in the last minute, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wonder
Sorry.
when they put the sparkle on the pick guard, because it could be like you might have an inadvertently perfectly preserved pick guard, or they put it on
Ooh.
there in 2003 and it's still
Who knows when they did it?
yellow and crusty under there.
There's a lot of other stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to over.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we've been trying to wrap it up right at 2 hours because YouTube does weird stuff to the file past then. So
Yeah, unfortunately.
30 seconds. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone that joined and hung out. Thanks everyone that
Yeah.
hung out in the chat.
Someday I'll figure out where my hands go on the camera.
Yeah, they're backwards.
Yeah, I hate
And
it.
stay grounded. Bye
See you
everybody.
guys.
See you guys.
Good night.